Hello, people of the internet. It's your boy, Skinny Penis, with another cut and edited video by Stoop. It's the same as with the experimental ships. I mean, if you like it, then give me a little hint, maybe. I personally think it's a good idea. It's kind of like what PQ does, like multiple games, just cut them together, less waiting time. I can just enjoy the cut videos. Obviously, keep in mind, as with the experimental, there's certain mods here that Stoop uses that I don't have. So the HUD, UI, everything, it looks a bit different than what I have. But yeah, we played a bit of Puerto Rico, and the next one is going to be Hayate. Some good games. But yeah, Puerto Rico, can talk a bit about it. I personally think kind of interesting to talk about, probably the most power crept slash useless battle cruiser that's currently out there. Could have been a great design, sadly isn't. So, well, here we are. Originally, the what's it called? A PR disaster of the Puerto Rico dockyard, the first dockyard ever in World of Warships. Then they reintroduced it again with another dockyard. Otherwise, you had to purchase it through. No, you couldn't actually purchase it through Christmas crates because it isn't in Christmas crates. So yeah, only the two dockyards is where you could get it. Was it worth it? Well, it's a tier 10 kind of collector's thing. But no, from a strength perspective of the ship, no, not at all. Back in the days, it kind of had some sort of value. These days, yeah, well, most power crept. It wasn't good to begin with. It was probably really well balanced, probably underperforming a wee bit. It was nothing special. They were pretty scared to not, or I guess they were scared that they could potentially create a tier 10 Alaska. Because Alaska on tier 9 is pretty much the strongest, or one of the strongest cruisers. Still is, even though it's power crept as well. And yeah, I guess they didn't want to have an extra gun Alaska with an even harder to settle armor scheme on tier 10. So I guess that's why the ship is what it is. But yeah, 60-second fires, no fire prevention. It has some armor, deck and side. It doesn't get overmatched everywhere. It also has the troll funny sit. If you turn flat close range, it's basically impossible to settle that thing. But it gets, well, obviously 60-second fires, and it gets battleship dispersion. This thing has 1-to-1 Monty dispersion, with the added downside, you have to say, of it not having access to this 11% dispersion module. So actually your dispersion at the end is worse, 4% worse than Monty, because you can only slot the 7% cruiser module. You don't get access to the USNBB module in the 6th slot. So yeah, as you can see here, you push in, you try to, but you immediately have to hide from an island, because even a Yodo and a Ragna is a disaster. Something like a Ragna, or generally gunboats, kited, are basically your death. You, like, as you can see, the dispersions, they wouldn't suit any sort of sniping on destroyers. You'd take ages to kill a DD, especially healthy DDs with heals and the ability to dodge. You can kind of hit cruisers and battleships decently consistent. I mean, as I said, it's Monty dispersion, so it can troll you as well. Obviously, because of the dispersion, it's also not as effective to fight battleships with HE. I mean, as you can see here, I have a 17-second reload now with AR kicking in. Actually, the mod shows that Stoop runs here what the reload currently is. I'm healing up, so the reload goes up. So we're at like 17.5, 17.3 seconds, whatever, which is pretty long reload on these guns. And then again, I have shit dispersion. But yeah, any sort of kited gunboat, you have to dive. Any sort of HE spam cruiser kited, you have to dive. I mean, obviously, you're not overmatching. You do have the improved penetration angles of this AP, but that requires the enemy cruiser to really fuck up. And even if he fucks up, then your dispersion might troll you. So yeah, the thing is a pain in the ass to push with. You also have the funny addition or the added downside of 13 kilometers concealment. Yeah, probably not needed. or at least they could buff it in other ways. As I said, the ship was never really that good because the dispersion is just too troll. As you can see here, 3 out of 12 shells hit on a nose in Iowa, 2 non-pens. It's not that consistent or strong to really play. It's kind of a whatever cruiser. And what makes it even worse, to be fair, is not the addition of new battle cruisers like Marseille or something that are faster, stealthier, have a reload boost. Obviously they don't have radar, but a reload boost. More pen on the AP, but not improved penetration angles. But also better dispersion because Marseille gets battle cruiser dispersion. That's not really it, because Marseille also has drawbacks. Marseille, for example, has a weaker armor scheme than this ship against AP. You get overmatched more. You also have a Citadel. This one here really doesn't. The problem is ships like Rhode Island. I guess that's what it comes down to. A Rhode Island is nothing else but a Puerto Rico that works, kind of. Or basically, in every single regard, it's a better Puerto Rico with none of the downsides. You have better dispersion on Rhode Island. You have a higher caliber on Rhode Island. You have more speed on Rhode Island. You have access to fire prevention on Rhode Island. You have a fast heal on Rhode Island. You have better concealment on Rhode Island. You have, obviously, because of the higher caliber and better dispersion, better AP, better... AP also has improved pen angles, better HE, better HE alpha, better fire chance. If you go down, like, if you can consider the alpha on Rhode Island as well, and the dispersion... you're also basically kind of on the same reload. I mean, sure, this thing reloads faster than a Rhode Island, but I mean, the dispersion is just wonkier and the alpha is lower. So yeah, there's no point in it anymore. Specifically, something like more speed and better concealment on Rhode Island is insane, given that it has better guns, so, and more tankiness. So like, what's the point? Sure, Rhode Island also gets nose and ass overmatched like this car here, but yeah, well, everything else is better. Let's see, you heal more, you take less fire damage because of fire prevention. Well, in general, like, what the fuck are we doing? Puerto Rico, just generally like this kind of forgotten child. For me personally, very interesting because I would assume they want to sell this thing. Also, like, if they buff it, they're probably planning on putting it on crates. That would be my guess, because like no one would ever fucking buy a crate to get this piece of shit. I hope, at least. There's just like no redeeming quality about it. You could play most other cruisers. If you want to HE spam, you play HE spam. Kai cruisers way better. If you want battle cruiser with forward gameplay, you play like Marseille. If you want incredible guns, way better guns, obviously, you play a Stalin. If you want something more tanky and fast at the same time, you play Rhode Island. There's so much shit like you could play instead of this car that is just providing you more engaging gameplay while being more effective. I mean, also, by the way, Rhode Island also retains the radar. I mean, you have a 10-kilometer one on Puerto, but given that you're slower and less concealment, like the 9 km radar on Rhode Island, it's as effective, if not more effective in general. So yeah, also like you radaring destroyers in Puerto Rico doesn't net you a lot of damage on destroyers. Your dispersion will most likely grief the living shit out of you. And then obviously, but that's kind of the same for every cruiser or BB, carriers are a pain in the ass, but on this one here, you're obviously large, fat, hard to handle. And you have to run hydro, otherwise you eat massive torps. So yeah, carriers just love you. Little skirt lift. Shiki lifted up its skirt, got a Citadel there. That's because I got access to the belly. A very lucky shell there. That's not a main armor belt penetration, by the way. Like, you do not have the pen. But yeah, you're just better off playing in Alaska on tier 9, and that is already sketched because tier 9 matchmaking is so fucking horrendous. But Alaska could probably still be considered a tier 9.5. Tier 9 is in general very weird. There's certain ships that are kind of like tier 8.5, just complete shit. Then there's actual tier 9s, and then there's certain set of premium ships or even line ships that are just like straight up 9.5 or nearly tier 10, like Los Andes, Georgia, Alaska. Like, those ships are just way stronger than the rest of the tier. Also, like the DDs, like Mogador, Kaze. What else was there? Katsonis now. Katsonis is a monster. So yeah, tier 9 is kind of awkward because, I don't know, some ships are just fully balanced around the fact they could potentially meet a tier 7. So that's why they're tuned down, and then they suck against tier 10 and 11. And then there's other ships that somehow didn't get that treatment. But yeah, Alaska already like a weird one to play. Yeah. But I mean, the Alaska has the battle cruiser dispersion, way more accurate. So personally, I would rather play the 3-gun Alaska. I don't know if Alaska has faster reload. I don't think so. But yeah, the better dispersion is just, yeah, it's just frustrating to play Puerto Rico. You're playing a cruiser and you have battleship dispersion. It's just bullshit. It sucks. It really just sucks. Very frustrating. Also, like, you're extremely limited in your game impact. You have to dive and sit on a lot of islands because you have to cut any sort of angle from the enemy. You obviously, as any ship or any cruiser, you soak up AP damage even if you're angled. But on top, you also have this incredible downside against HE with the like fat ship in general and no access to fire prevention, but 60-second fires. Like, you can't really play aggressive. You can't really stay open water a lot. What you want to do, or what you have to do, is kite a fuck ton and run away. Because like also like you get a double fire DCP, probably you get set on a double perma, and that already removes most of your HP. Just you have nothing against it. Your heal isn't improved either. I mean, that could be something, for example, they could do, give it like a super heal maybe. That would actually make it extremely tanky, I guess, because you could actually do something against the fire damage you receive. Would be probably a better idea than buffing like damage output in guns or gimmick again. Like, just give it a super heal so it's tankier. Could be good, could be good. Otherwise, I wouldn't really know. Like, I bet at this point, I mean, it's totally fine to give it Alaska dispersion. They could just change it from today to tomorrow, and ship wouldn't be broken. Ship would actually be kind of more interesting and way more consistent to play, and actually maybe had a place. Maybe had a place in the game. But yeah, as you saw there in that game, just now on Mountain Range, you had to dive island a lot. You have to, I don't know, hope that there's teammates around you that also take shots when pushing. You have to turn away and kite very soon and early. Like, you have to find opportunities to actually shoot an enemy while he's occupied with a teammate. You just don't want to receive focus, which is awkward because you're an 80k armored cruiser, a battle cruiser that is supposed to be taking some hits. You don't want to be taking any hits at all. By the way, we have a weird trend that I start loading, or I give Stoop replays, or I load replays where Flamo randomly blows up in the beginning of the match. We already figured that one out. If either him or I int in the beginning, the other one most likely tends to have a better game, obviously, because all the impact is now, or like now the other guy, the guy that survived, has to achieve all the impact. Otherwise, we lose the game. So now basically I have to play as if I was solo. Anyways, I didn't do that on purpose. I just had 2 decent Puerto games. The rest was kind of mediocre. I mean, you're doing something. You still have decent AP. You still have HE penetration of over 50 mil. Like, you get some HE pens and stuff. You do stump stuff. You get some nice volleys here and there. But yeah, overall, frustrating. Just frustrating. There's like really like very little reason to play it. I mean, I'd play it rather than a Sevastopol. Like, there's ships that are more suffering than this thing here. But I mean, if you constantly ask yourself in every game as to, could I have won that game if I was just in a different ship? And more often than not, the answer is yes. If I had just had a slightly better ship, it would have been way better. Yeah, also, like, actually Stoop cut out a lot of wonky, funky volleys here, which is pretty sad, because there's going to be some broadside Riga shots here on this one, and I think there is a Taijin, which is also Riga hull, coming in as well. Like, a lot of funky shots where I just don't get citadels or not a lot of hits. The dispersion really is a disaster, and it shows. I'm also running like the AA skill. That actually helped a lot, to be fair, because the airstrike spam is obviously a mega downside for you as a large ship. And also, as I said, you have to kind of play a lot of islands just because you don't want to receive focus at all. So the AA skill kind of keeps you alive a bit more on this ship. I had a few games where the AA skill was the only reason I was still alive and could play the game and get, like, I don't know, sometimes 100k more damage. It's just like AA skill. At this point, I would actually say that 8% from top grade gunner or even fucking outnumbered doesn't matter. Like, that doesn't make the ship suddenly good. Actually, having faster DCPs and heals from AA skill if you get plain focused is kind of what you need. I actually would say it's probably the best 4-point skill you can take on the ship next to concealment, which is already wild. Yeah, here you can see like 7 overpens. It's like just weird. I mean, I hit a lot of shells, but they're not hitting on the main armor build, so they don't citadel. It's really fucking inaccurate. Yeah, just don't know. They should, in my opinion, probably should buff it. The AP does behave pretty well against cruisers though. It's Alaska AP, so also like against, for example, Hindenburgs or so, you have an easy time. But as you can see here, I was diving on I had to stay on the island in the middle, because the moment, if I would have kited out earlier when they were like more people had angle on me, I would have died, just because you can't receive focus fire, as I said. And then like now I have to kite out and I'm down to like 1 last heal. So now I have to use the islands here and spawn to just AFK kite from there, or like AFK snipe from there. Also here like 8k from AP angled again. This thing eats AP angled, it eats HE, it doesn't fucking matter. It eats airstrikes, it eats carrier planes, it eats every fucking thing, and it has nothing to defense it. It has a 5-second cruiser DCP and some shit fucking normal heal. Like, if I at least had crazy guns, right? Like Stalin also burns for 60 seconds and has no fire prevention, but Stalin has more armor, and Stalin has 12 km radar, and Stalin has way more fucking potent guns. Like, I can fucking fist people at 20 kilometers with a Stalin on cooldown because I have more range and better accuracy, faster shells and everything. Like, it's amazing. This thing here is the fucking ugly ass, the ugly, demented, brain damaged brother of a Stalingrad, and even Stalingrad is power crept quite a lot these days. Like, you kite a lot more in Stalin than your nose in, and that's since years. This thing here, I don't even know how to fucking make it work properly. It's like these 2 games, I got a lot of teammates to basically bait. Like, a lot of times there's teammates next to me in the middle, or like on mountain range when I pushed. When I then went back, there's always someone else the enemy focuses, so I'm being left alone, and that's kind of the only way it works. In the games where you receive focus from 3-4 ships, you're most likely going to fucking die, and you're going to die extremely fucking fast. Then again, playing islands to bring like your utility hydro and radar into the game is kind of nice. Because you, as I said, you can't really be sit. So as long as there's like no airstrike or plane spam on top of you, or no one can really like spot you consistently or farm you over an island, if you get close, you can be extremely trolly. Like, you can brawl some ships just because you don't have a sit. So like close range, I could, for example, just turn flat to certain BBs at 4 kilometers and just they couldn't harm me. But that is not enough to make the ship viable. It's not. I really don't know. It's always like the laughing stock. I mean, cruisers in general, specifically battle cruisers, have a hard time ever since they don't have access to the battleship skill tree, and ever since Wargaming refuses to give them all around decent armor. Like kind of Napoli and Petro were the ones that made that happen. So now you're just kind of stuck with battle cruisers where the average player has to always care for focus fire, because these things die super fast, specifically to HE and airstrike stuff with the fires and HE pens. Yeah, could have given them more love. I personally also think that this, like, you can see like battle cruisers are played a lot. People like it. People like heavier cruisers as well. Like, you see them a lot with armor. So I wouldn't mind making them a bit better so they can actually have their place in the game. We don't need this everything fucks everything type of approach. Everything fucks everything and the BB stand on top of everything. So like, cool. I would enjoy myself some super heal here maybe. Like, yeah, why not keep the shitty dispersion, give an actual fucking super heal? That'd be amazing. I would also say it wouldn't make it broken. I mean, you can either give it Alaska dispersion or a super heal, maybe both, then it would be actually busted and actually cracked. But yeah, I mean, a super heal, why not? Like, it would make this ship way more it would make it easier to push. You could actually play forward islands way more and fist people. I guess the issue is that kite is very dangerous for it then, but you don't have access to fire prevention, so like it's kind of like a non-fire prevention conqueror. You actually can die if you like DCP and then you get set on double or triple fire. I'd say it's fine. You could do it at that point, because since you then don't touch the dispersion, I don't think the kite is too effective. I mean, you do deal damage from kite, with this thing. So yeah, it's not too consistent. Like, it's not like a, I don't know, like a Stalin dispersion with superhero. No, it's I mean, it's still battleship dispersion. Also, the Halsey buff helping out. The Halsey buff kind of makes it a playable ship. You actually get some reload and you spam some shells, which is needed. Like, faster reload would also be an option, I guess. Better dispersion or faster reload. I would advise against it at this point. I don't think we need more damage output in the game. We should make ships maybe more survivable. Would be amazing. So if you play well and you keep yourself afloat for a long time, you still get a massive amount of damage. Even if the guns are a bit trolly and reload long. But yeah, it's not this kind of glass cannon type of approach they do a lot lately, with cruisers not having armor but tons of DPM and smoke, and like, if you blow up, you blow up instant, or like, if you fuck it, you blow up instant. But if you get to smoke over and over and stay dark, you farm 1,000,000 damage. Why not have something lit for ages but also not pump out that much damage? That would be nice. It's kind of like a Kreml, right? Kreml can tank a lot, but it's also not the Omega sniper of the century. It has to be pretty close to get massive amounts of damage, and even then it only gets 30 overmatch, so the battleships can angle to it. I mean, obviously a Kreml in the mouth of a cruiser is pretty bad, but to be fair, all the new BBs with 30 overmatch can do it even better. They may not be as tanky, but I mean, does it matter if you're tanky if you just one-shot the cruiser that could technically damage you in every volley? Debatable. But yeah, this ship here, I don't know, rotting in port since years. Not gonna really play it. Lately I'm touching a few frustrating ships just because I'm bored. I don't really see the point. It doesn't really have doesn't really have a role, in my opinion. All the new ships that have been released, there's so many Raiders ships that are just better. There is just no redeeming aspect of it. That's it. But yeah, hope you liked it. There were 2 decent games, not the best, not the best. But I mean, if you're ignored, you still deal damage. Not even 300k. But yeah, maybe give it a chance again if you feel like it. See you in the next video, and adios.